That's everybody. All right, everybody, welcome to today's Monday, May 10th, 2021 regular council meeting. I'll call today's council meeting to order, and let's jump right in. Are there any added items? CEO Merritt.
Yes, Your Worship, I'd like to have emergency management appointments added to the agenda. And could we do that under 3A, the update to emergency management?
Absolutely. Okay.
And could I? Yeah, could I also add that Mr. Chant, Director of Operations, is on leave at this time, and acting for Mr. Chant is Doug Wagstaff as Director of Operations and Michelle Rock as Director of Community Services.
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right. Are there any other added items? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to accept. Oh, sorry, Councillor Ryan.
Thank you, Your Worship. I was just wondering, did we not have an in-camera session today with regards to ICC? No. ICC?
No, we aren't doing that today.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Yep. All right. May I have a motion, please? Councillor Blatz.
You're muted. Hello.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Thank you.
Sorry. I thought I hit the unmute button. My apologies. Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to adopt the regular council agenda for Monday, May 10th, 2021 as amended.
Excellent. Comments, questions, concerns regarding that motion? We've got 2, 4. Sorry, I'm just getting all of council in my line of sight. Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? And that motion carries. All right, let's move on to adoption of previous minutes. We have a motion, please. Councillor Ryan.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move that we adopt the minutes as presented from the last meeting, which was April 26, I believe, 2021.
Excellent, thank you. Director Wagstaff.
If I may ask for a housekeeping amendment, I did a typo in the address of the address on page 7 for the motion 21174.
Okay.
It was to have read 5001 54th Street. And my apologies, that was a typo on my behalf when I sent it to council as to read the motion.
All right. Very good. Any other errors, omissions, comments, or questions regarding the minutes?
I will make the motion to accept as amended then.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Councillor Ryan. And if there's nothing else, I'll call the vote. All in favor? And opposed? That motion is carried. Excellent. Let's move right along, jump right into item 3A, Emergency Management Agency COVID update. CAO, would you like to introduce?
Yes, I would. Thank you, Your Worship. I would like to introduce Jennifer Lutz, the Acting Director of Emergency Management, to do an update. A lot has happened since last Monday when we met at PMP with the Premier's address to the province on Tuesday. With that came a lot of changes in regards to the provincial response to COVID, and the follow suit, a lot has happened with the town as well. So Jennifer will give a verbal update to council at this time. Jennifer, thanks so much, and I know you had a busy week. Thanks.
Thank you. So there's only a few key stats that I want to provide today. The town of Olds was the hot spot in the central region. We got up to number 4 in case numbers per capita in the province, and we were number 1 in central region. So I hope our case numbers have spiked and have peaked on May 2nd with 123 cases, as we have started to see numbers go down. Yesterday, we reported 97. So that's an improvement. Sorry, Marianne, or Councillor Overwater.
Your Worship, through you to Ms. Lutz. So with those numbers have spiked, like, is it because people aren't following the AHS rules? Is it because we were classified in the rodeo? Was there outcomes of the rodeo that happened that have, spiked our numbers? Like, I don't see a lot of communal gatherings or anything. So why
So-
are our numbers spiking?
Yeah, so as I reported in our last update, AHS said there was nothing specific. So it was community spread. So they couldn't attribute it to a single event. It was schools, it was daycares, it was day homes, it was business, it was within residents. So that it was just widespread community uptake to positive cases.
Thank you, Ms. Lutz.
All right. Carry on. Did you have any more to your report, Ms. Lutz, or?
Yeah, I can continue.
Carry
So
on.
we know people are tired and done with COVID, but we really appreciate the support and understanding we have seen from the community as we work through COVID-19. We've seen a lot of chalking, good messages, kindness, and just generosity in the community, neighbors helping neighbors, and we cannot thank people for doing their part. So a top priority during COVID crisis was to reduce the negative impact on local businesses. So to help achieve this, we launched the Business Impact Survey, and it was directly aimed at the business community. It was a short, quick survey up for a week, emailed to all business licenses and advertised through a blitz through social media, the radio, and local newspapers. So we got 98 responses, and I'd just like to share some of the highlights of that report. And the report will be published on the Town of Olds website. So we had a very diverse cross-section of uptake. The survey indicates that the pandemic really had varying degrees of financial impact to businesses. So 8% stated their bottom line was completely impacted, 28% had a moderate impact, and 66% of the respondents had a slight impact or an actual improvement to their bottom line. So it was nice to see some encouraging numbers there. Although if you're in the 8%, we recognize that's tough. 77% of respondents indicated that their immediate business needs had been addressed, but did note supply chain issues and continuing changes to provincial health guidelines were among some of their biggest challenges. From the list of business supports offered by the town, programs that put dollars directly in the hands of businesses were the most popular, with waiving the annual resident business license fee and the reopening grant being the most popular choices. We did ask, and this is a tough question, but we asked for experiences within the community that provided some inspiration and hope. The general theme throughout the responses where most people have been respectful with COVID-19 protocols. They enjoyed seeing positive messaging and a feeling of community support, as well as seeing businesses band together to support local. Areas where businesses have built resistance included increasing online marketing, social media uptake, offering appointments and programs online, and curbside pickup. So as anticipated, there was a lot of frustration in these surveys as well, which is the other side that we hear. And we know that it's a divisive subject matter with a lot of perspectives. So what we're doing with the comments and the feedback we have is administration is getting together and looking at this report closer, and we will bring recommendations back to you at a future date.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mrs. Lutz. I'd start with a motion to accept for information. And if there are any questions, we can go from there. Councillor Overwater.
Thank you. Yes, I move that council accepts the emergency management's verbal update on COVID-19 as information.
Excellent. Any questions or comments? All right, seeing none, thank you very much, Mrs. Lutz. We appreciate your hard work. And just as a comment from myself, it was incredibly heartwarming to see how many people went out and supported our restaurants with the implementation of the outside patios. And you know, you drive down that road when it was snowing and -5 out there, and there were dozens of people on those patios. So it's good to see hardy Albertans and the residents of Olds support our local businesses the way they have. So thank you very much for that. All right, let's move along.
We should vote.
CAO, sorry, you have some appointment.
Did we vote on that?
Oh, yes, we haven't voted on that yet. Let's do that. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? Excellent. Thank you very much for the reminder. And CAO, some appointments you wanted to speak about.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. I was wondering if the legislative clerk, Marcy, had the added item that she could put up onto the screen, just as this was added after the agenda was posted and sent. So we're asking to give Jennifer some support in regards to some appointments. So first appointment would be to have Jennifer Lutz appointed to the position of Acting Director of Emergency Management. I had already appointed her, but I would like to do it through a council motion today. Also, I'd like to temporarily appoint Cody mckee to the position of Acting Director, the Deputy Director of Emergency Management, and Jamie Vassar similarly to the same position of Acting Deputy Director of Emergency Management. So if council will approve those three, that would be very appreciated.
Excellent. Thank you, CAO. Do we want 3 separate motions then?
Yes, I believe so.
All right. Now I can see everybody. Councillor Thompson for the first one, please.
Yes, Your Worship. I would move that council temporarily appoint Jennifer Lutz to the position of Acting Director of Emergency Management for the Town of Olds, effective May 10th, 2021.
Excellent. Comments, questions, concerns regarding that motion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor? And opposed? That motion carries. All right, for the second one, please, Councillor Harper.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. I move that the council of the Town of Olds temporarily appoint Cody mckee as the acting Deputy Director of Emergency Management, effective May 1st or May 9th. What day is it today? May 10th, sorry, 2021.
All right, yeah, these days are blending together, that's for certain. Thank you. All right, questions, comments, concerns on that motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? Motion is carried. All right, for the third one, please. Councillor Blatz.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move the council temporarily appoint Jamie Vassar to the position of Acting Deputy Director of Emergency Management for the Town of Olds, effective May 10th, 2021.
Excellent. Comments, questions, concerns on that motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? That motion carries. Excellent. Thank you very much, CAO, for getting that housekeeping out of the way. Let's move along to item 3B, National.
Your Worship, Your Worship,
Yes.
the CAO has his hand up.
Oh, sorry, my
I
apologies.
just want to again recognize not only Jennifer, but the whole emergency management team. Jennifer took 1 day off and her workload increased by 3-fold at least and such. So I don't think she can take any more days off, but quickly responded to all the changes that we needed to make. And I do appreciate that. So to her and her team, great job.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Councillor Blatz.
Thank you, Your Worship. And I think following along that note, I think we should thank all of our town staff for all the support and work they've done over the last year. And I think they all deserve some recognition as well for everything that's happened. Those that are having to work from home and those that are working still from the office. I think everybody needs some recognition, in our public works and our parks and recreation that have not missed a beat either. I think they all deserve some recognition. Thank you.
Very good. Yes, excellent. Thank you so much to all the employees at the Town of Olds. You've done yeoman work in a very difficult situation. And we, as council, certainly appreciate it. Thank you, Councillor Blatz. All right. And I better watch instead of read. Let's move along to item 3B, National Indigenous Peoples Day Planning Committee. CAO, would you like to,
Yeah, I will. Thank you, Your Worship. I'll hand this off to Michelle Larocque to introduce the committee and for the proclamation and give us an update on their good works that they are doing. So with that, Michelle.
Great, thank you very much. I, in turn, am going to introduce Michelle Jorgensen as our Heritage Advisor, who will be introducing a couple of committee members from the National Indigenous Peoples Day Planning Committee. And they are going to speak to us about how they're going to be celebrating National Indigenous Peoples Day today in our COVID era. So, Michelle Jorgensen.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Your Worship, Council. Thank you for your time today. It is my pleasure to introduce today Elder John Sinclair, Chairman and member of National Indigenous Peoples Day Planning Committee, also known as Olds Indigenous Connections. As well, we have a committee member here today who's also going to share, I believe, and I invite her to turn on her video if she's able to. Bev Taves is, as I said, a committee member, but also the UNESCO coordinator for the Olds High School. So we're really, really grateful to have them both here today to share about National Indigenous Peoples Day in Olds. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Like I was introduced, my name is John Sinclair. I'm of the Cree First Nations in Northern Alberta. I was born up in Bonnyville, and my grandparents both came from Cree reserves, one from Ermineskin in Musquetees and one from Sad Lake up north. So I'm proud to sit before you today and thank you all for inviting me or even taking time to listen to what we're doing. We want to bring some important things to the table today. But first, I would like to acknowledge the Treaty 7 territory that we are on, the ancestral and traditional territory of the Blackfoot Confederacy and Siksika, as well as the Tsuut'ina First Nation and the Stoney Nakoda, including Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Wesley First Nations. We acknowledge the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit whose footsteps have marked these lands for generations. We are grateful for the traditional knowledge keepers and elders who are still with us today, and those who have gone before us. We recognize the land as an act of reconciliation and gratitude to those whose territory we reside on or are visiting. So why do we bother saying that? I think that, back in the day, people had territories that they looked after, and it was their responsibility to take care of those areas, not to claim as their own, but to ensure that the land brought forth sustenance for the people. And the Treaty 7 people have really looked after their land in that good way, over the hundreds of years. So and they were able to share. My people come from the Treaty 6 territory, and because we were hunter-gatherers, we roamed the land and traveled wherever the buffalo and the animals took us. And so sometimes we were in the territory of the Blackfoot people, and we always were able to sit at the same table, for lack of better words, and talk about how can we share. And my great grandfather came from Ermineskin band in Hobima to the Blackfoot people down in Siksika and asked if they could come and live on their territory to hunt and to survive for the winter. And of course, they smoked pipe, and they made a commitment to each other. And that was the way of our old ways. And So my great-great-grandfather was allowed to live in the area of Elnora, and he stayed there and hunted and lived with his people. And like that's the treaties that were made back then. So when we acknowledge the land, that's what we're saying is thank you for taking care of us. Thank you for taking care of our people. And I would say the same to you folks, how well we've been looked after in the past few years that we've been involved with the town of Olds. We've always been looked after and welcomed. And I really appreciate that from all of you, from the town council and all of your employees. And so with that, I want to, talk about this event that we're going to be having on June 21st this year. Because of COVID, we're not going to have our normal drum pounding event that we had, the past 2 times. The kids so enjoyed, sitting at that big drum and singing their little hearts out. It was such a beautiful day that I remember that, and I'll remember that for the rest of my life. But this time we're going to do some virtual stuff. We're going to have some videos. We're putting together, I think, an hour's worth of different videos, 5-minute segments, so we don't lose the interest of people, and it'll be repeated throughout the day. So we want to, just give the people an experience of the culture, from the different, like First Nations, Métis, and Inuit, and give them a taste of, what it is that our culture is made from. And so we have that coming up on June 21st. And what else are we doing? I'm looking to my helper, Michelle, who said, I'll jump in anytime.
Perhaps now would be a good opportunity then for Bev to share about the benefits of the virtual event with the schools, not just in our area, but abroad. Bev, if you have.
Yeah. So, yeah, thanks, Michelle. So usually we always enjoy having the in-person event, and school kids get to go and experience it. But one of the benefits from doing this virtual celebration is that it's going to be available to all of the schools in Chinook's Edge School Division, which isn't the case if we have an in-person one. And the other thing that's really good is that teachers, sometimes if you have a virtual event, if it's a certain time period, not every teacher can access it because it might not fit into the schedule of their classes, or when they have a certain group of students that they want to share it with. So because it's going to be just a link that people can access, then teachers will be able to access it whenever it fits into their schedule and for how many classes that they would like to share it with. And we'll also have it available after, so that it can keep being a resource for schools. And so that's going to be really good professional development for teachers, as well as resources to teach their students.
Awesome.
Excellent. Any
So
more?
is there, yeah, actually there is one more request. I guess it's a question regarding the proclamation that June 21st, 2021 be recognized as National Indigenous Peoples Day in the town of Olds. And we'd ask if you could make a proclamation to that effect. And also want to invite Mayor Michael Muzicka to bring video greetings to the people for that day. I'm sure we can make time to, have a video made of you inviting and thanking the people, if that's something you'd like to do.
I would be honored to do that, Elder. Just a little quick story. The other day, I had a bit of a weak moment, and I was thinking about the things that COVID had taken away from us. I'm normally a very positive person, but I had a weak moment there. And about the third thing that popped into my mind, Elder Sinclair, was not seeing you over the past 14 months. Every time you and I are together, I learn something incredibly new and fascinating. And I absolutely appreciate our face-to-face meetings. But then I knew I was going to see you here today on video. So I was quite happy about that. And it changed my entire mood that day. So I appreciate everything that you've done for our community. And the work that you do is very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And I'd be honored, like I said, to make that video to welcome everybody to National Indigenous Peoples Day. All right. May I start with the proclamation, please? Councillor Lutz.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move the council thank the National Indigenous Peoples Day Planning Committee for their presentation and the ongoing work of the volunteers of the National Indigenous Peoples Day Planning Committee be acknowledged with thanks. And is that just one, or is it all together?
I think that should be all together there, it sounds like. So
because there's also that June 21st, 2021 be recognized as National Indigenous Peoples Day in the town of Bowles.
Then yeah, let's break it into two.
Okay.
So for the first motion, are there any questions for the committee? Yes, Councillor Lutz.
Yes. I just wanted to make a comment. I appreciate Bev's comment, or Mrs. Tave's comments on, the positivity going forward to have to move this event to a virtual event. Having attended it in the past, I always, really enjoyed the day and the people and meeting people and, seeing the students and being able to watch their interaction with everything. But I like the positivity on the fact that it will now be used as a resource tool and that all of Chinook's Edge School Division will get to participate in it. And I think that's really wonderful. And that's a great job done by all of you again.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Other comments, questions, concerns before we vote on the motion on the table? Councillor Ryan.
Well, thank you, Your Worship. Not a question, but certainly a comment. And I had the pleasure of participating in this wonderful day in the last few years, and seeing the kids that just seem so thrilled to be able to learn new things and participate. Having a chance to meet Elder Sinclair has been, just a great boon to my life. And I think that I basically want to thank him and the whole committee for organizing this every year. And I can't wait to see what we're going to see virtually. It's not going to be exactly the same, but I'm sure that they'll get together a fabulous program. And thank you so much, Elder Sinclair, for all your work.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. My favorite memory is walking into the teepee and you're drumming to SpongeBob SquarePants. With the kids involved. That was
I recall that one too. That was hilarious.
Excellent way to reach out and get a hold of them. All right.
Yeah.
Any further comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote on the first motion. All in favor? None opposed. That motion carries. May I have the second proclamation? Councillor Bennett.
Thank you, Worship. I move that June 21st, 2021 be recognized as National Indigenous Peoples Day in the town of Olds.
Comments, questions, concerns regarding that motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed. Motion is carried. All right. Thank you very much, committee, and good luck on the 21st.
Thank you. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elder Sinclair.
Bye now.
Let's move right along. We have item 3C, the Fair Trade Committee. CAO.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, and this is another proclamation of having Fair Trade Month being proclaimed. just want to reflect, it was the major conference that Fair Trade was having in Calgary that kind of COVID hit home. I think you were about to present, Mr. Mayor, at that conference, and a lot of things changed in that day and a half. I think it did start, and I'm not sure if it ever got concluded. But I do think such an important issue as fair trade was great that people were able to get together. It's unfortunate that it hit that pinnacle of the start of COVID, and we are still into it 17 months later. With that, I'll ask, I see Bev Taves is still with us, and I'll ask Kelly Loy to basically introduce this item.
Excellent.
Thank you, Mr. Merritt. Hello, Your Worship, Council. Thank you for allowing time today on the agenda for this. I'd like to introduce Bev Taves. She is the chair for Fair Trade Olds, and she's here to request the proclamation. Bev.
Council. Yes, Michael, it was, I think that our Fair Trade Conference was the last conference held in Alberta. We were fortunate to finish it off on the Saturday evening. There was a lot of people that didn't come, but we still had it, and it was really successful, and we were really able to highlight the town of Olds. And as usual, Olds is one of the beacons in the fair trade movement in Canada. And so we were really happy to be able to highlight our town so well. And we were just kind of going gung-ho with our cacao producer, and we had a whole bunch of things planned after that we were going to take off on. But of course, we were stopped in our tracks for a few months. Anyways, we are continuing as a committee, and we still have been doing things. The high school has been doing things this year. We bought 50 fair trade certified roses and made up 10 bouquets and delivered them to the nurses and staff at the hospital here. And so showed our support in that way of them. We've continued to have Fair Trade Fridays in the school, and we are planning to have a banana split day if that becomes possible and our school gets back together again, which I'm sure it will. So one of the things that we'd like to do for Fair Trade Month is we want to support our local restaurants and businesses that are supporting fair trade. And so we had some hot chocolate still left over from the conference that's still not expired. And so we are going to be giving it to a variety of restaurants, and they can do what they want with it. They can sell it. We're also going to donate them some roses, and they can give them to people whenever they buy hot chocolate. We're encouraging them maybe to create a new cocktail with it. I don't know. We can try and be creative with hot chocolate and see if we can make it a highlight. Hopefully kind of near the end of May, between the 18th and the 23rd. So you can look out for some event coming up from there. Also, Uptown Market, we can hand out roses there. So just because we can't gather at events, we are really still looking for ways of incorporating fair trade into our community. And as well as supporting growers of products that we can't grow here, our committee always continues to strive to support our local economy by making sure that we have fair trade products available in town so that people that like to support fair trade can purchase them in town and not have to go to Calgary and Red Deer or anywhere else to buy them, as well as giving businesses a guaranteed or a way of knowing that their supply chains are clean when they are striving to create that or incorporate that into their businesses. Because of the logo that we are designated as Fair Trade Town under, it's the gold standard in the world. And so it's got the most comprehensive standards and third-party auditing that ensures the standards are being met. So we're very proud to uphold that, as well as a few other logos that are endorsed by the Canadian Fair Trade Network. We are continuing as a committee, and we hope to still continue to get the support of the town, and ask that you could proclaim the month of May as Fair Trade Month Olds. We're a little bit late because just kind of things that have been happening. So if you could be willing to do that, we would be very appreciative of that.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mrs. Taves. We appreciate the great work, and yet another thing that Olds can put up on the board as being one of the leaders in, and you've spearheaded that movement since day one, I believe, and we appreciate all your efforts. Thank you so much. All right, may I have a motion, please? Councillor Thompson.
Yes, Your Worship. I would move that May 2021 be proclaimed as Fair Trade Month in the town of Olds, and thank Bev Taves for her outstanding decade of volunteerism in this work.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Questions, Councillor Bennett? Or
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you to Ms. Taves. Thank you, Bev, for all your hard work and doing so much for the community. You've been a wonderful ambassador for fair trade. I have just one question, and I'm wondering, has there been any talk with any retailers in town about bringing in a clothing line?
I'm constantly talking, or whenever I get an opportunity, I talk to people. And right now, I do have some toques at Olds Town Square. And so that's one thing that we're starting. And
Yeah.
yes, I'm would love to bring that to some retailers. One of the things that we've talked about this year is maybe becoming a member of the Uptown Olds, so that we could really be a voice right in that committee. And
I think
be able
that would be a great idea, I think, yeah, because there's wonderful outfits for, reasonable prices and fantastic products. So it would be great to see some in town.
Thank you. That's a great idea.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, that reminded me one thing too that I forgot to tell you is Renew Matthew, our wonderful chocolatier in town, is being interviewed by Fair Trade Calgary on Friday at noon. So.
Excellent.
Cool.
Fantastic. Any further comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, we have a motion on the table, so I will call for a vote. All in favor? And opposed? That motion carries. Excellent. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a fantastic afternoon.
Thank you.
All right, let's keep moving along. We have next up is business arising out of minutes or unfinished business. Does anybody have any business arising from the minutes? Seeing none, we'll move along to 5, bylaws. Item 5A, CAO.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm asking council to reschedule the bylaw number 2021-08, road closure bylaw, to May 25th, 2021 at 1 p.m. to be held virtually at the council chambers. Unfortunately, I was unable to meet the advertisement deadline for this to happen today, so we do need to reschedule it so it can happen on the 25th.
Excellent. Do we need a motion to that effect?
Yeah.
Councillor Harper.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. I move the council reschedule the date, time, and place for a public hearing on bylaw 2021-08 and set it for Tuesday, May the 25th, 2021 at 1 p.m. to be held virtually through the council chambers as the date, time, and place for a public hearing on bylaw 2021-08.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Councillor Harper, comments, questions, concerns regarding that motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? That motion carries. All right, let's continue on to item 5B, CAO.
Thank you, Your Worship. And 5B is bylaw 2021-11, Public Art Advisory Committee. This was brought forth last week at Policy and Priorities Committee. We had a good discussion. I think a few minor adjustments were required, and Mr. Wagstaff can speak to bringing this in for first, second, third reading with unanimous consent required for third reading of this committee bylaw.
And as the CAO indicated, there was some good discussion at the PMP meeting, and it's presented to you today, either to pass all 3 readings today or if you were wanting any further discussion and direct administration accordingly.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Director Wagstaff. May I start with the motion for first reading, please? Councillor Blatz.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move that the Public Art Advisory Committee bylaw number 2021-11 be given first reading.
Excellent. Comments, questions, concerns, Councillor Bennett.
Yes, I just wanted to bring up a housekeeping item in the background. It is the fourth line down, the start of the last sentence. After nearly a year of operating council, I think needs to be wordsmithed at the beginning.
Where?
Is that
After-
on the-
Okay, that's page, what page, 22?
22.
And it's in the background and it's the fourth line. And it says after nearly a year, just needs wordsmithing.
I think it meant nearly a year under the under a policy, and now it's going into a bylaw. So it does read awkwardly, and we will adjust the word.
Yeah, that's all I'm asking for, adjustment.
Excellent. All right. Any other comments, questions, Councillor Ryan?
Yeah, I think I agree with Councillor Bennett with regards to this. It just needs to have the taken out, the first one. And when we originally brought this up at P&P, I had mentioned a fact about concern with regards to the numbers of public at large. And I had asked the advisory committee members already on council if they had any problems with that, and they had none. So I'm fine with the way it's reading right now. Thank you.
Okay.
Anybody else before we call for the vote? Seeing none, I'll call for that vote. All in favor? And opposed? That motion carries. All right, let's move along to second reading, please. We have a motion. Councillor Bennett.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move the Public Art Advisory Committee bylaw number 2021-01 is given second reading.
Yes, Councillor Blatz.
Should be 2021-11.
Yeah.
Oh, another one, you're right. As amended.
As amended. All right. Oh yeah, there's a typo there too. All right. Comments, questions, concerns regarding the second reading? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? And that motion carries. All right, may I have a unanimous consent motion? Councillor Harper.
Oh, okay.
Well, you had your hand up very close. Yes.
Okay.
Actually, I had mine up.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay, Councillor Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Worship. Yeah, I think you must have missed, since we're sitting right beside each other on the video here. I move that council give a unanimous consent for presentation of the third reading of Public Art Advisory Committee bylaw number 2021-11 and.
Excellent. Comments, questions, concerns regarding the consent? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? And that is 7, which is unanimous. Motion is carried. All right, so that means we can have third reading. Councillor Harper.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. I move that Public Art Advisory Committee bylaw 2021-11 be given third and final reading.
Excellent. Thank you. Last chance for a comment, concern, or question. Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? That motion carries. Excellent. Thank you very much, everybody. That brings us to new business. Item 6A, CAO. Not sure if maybe you should be.
I don't think I should be speaking.
No, you're right. I looked at what it was. I can do that. So, as is mandated by the MGA, the Municipal Government Act, each and every year, council must review the performance of our CAO, our one and only employee. Just as a little bit of background for the public, many may not know, but council has direct control over our Chief Administrative Officer, Mr. Merritt. We hire and do his annual performance review every year as mandated by the MGA, and he is technically our only employee. Then he or she, our CAO, will direct administration to run the day-to-day operations of the town. So this is a very important anniversary that we have every year. Mr. Merritt came to us, I believe, back in 2017 on May 8th. So almost exactly to the year, 4 years later, here we are, and we have completed that review. So just want to make a quick proclamation. Who would like to do that? Or a quick motion, sorry. Councillor Bennett.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move that the following resolution on the subject of the Chief Administrative Officer 2020 to 2021 performance evaluation be approved.
Okay.
Do you want the second part separately?
Yep. No, second part.
Okay, and be it resolved that Council conducted the annual performance evaluation of Mr. Michael Merritt, Town of Olds Chief Administrative Officer, on May 6, 2021, in accordance with the Municipal Government Act, Section 205.1 and Section 207.
Excellent. Thank you, Councillor Bennett. Any comments, questions, concerns regarding the CAO review? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? The motion is carried. Excellent. Thank you very much, everybody. Let's move along to item 6B, proclamation for Public Works Week, May 16th to 22nd, 2021, CAO.
Well, first of all, just finishing up, as I say, I just want to thank Council for your support over the last 4 years. It's been a wonderful experience for me to have come to the town and have good councils to have worked with over the past 4 years. And it was almost 4 years, 2 days and 2 hours since I've taken on this responsibility. So, and I also want to thank the staff that have supported me so well in this position. One cannot do this job without having a great support staff, and thanks to all those that have contributed to this. So thank you, Mayor and Council. Thank you, staff.
Excellent. You're very welcome, Mr. Mayor. It's been a pleasure.
And 6B is a proclamation of Public Works Week. This is a very important proclamation for our staff and for the town. Public Works is a essential service, and we've seen that so much through this before COVID and now during COVID. It continues to be an exemplary service provided by our employees. They've demonstrated so many of their skills, dedication to this town, to our residents. And one thing that happens every September, hopefully it will happen this September, is an annual equipment rodeo, which our town competes with, I think, about 13 to 15 other municipalities, many of larger size than ourselves. And we're always one of the top performers in that equipment rodeo, which is a demonstration of the depth and the skill of our staff tremendously. They not only perform well here in our town, which is the most important part, but when they are asked to compete against much larger organizations, they're second to none, and they are quite capable of showing their pride in this town, and we have a lot of pride in what they do. So I am hoping that Public Works Week will be proclaimed for May 16th through 22nd, 2021.
Excellent. Thank you very much, CAO. May I start with a motion, please? Councillor Overwater.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, I move that May 16th to 22nd, 2021 be proclaimed Public Works Week in the Town of Olds.
Excellent. Comments, questions, concerns regarding that motion?
I would like to make a comment. I think in the past, I think our operations people have come in almost first, or have come in first. And I think that is quite a testament to the training that is given to our staff. And, you know, for them to go out and participate, I wish, you know, I could have seen some of that. Maybe when it does happen again, you know, maybe council can take a road trip and go watch some of this event. I think it would be quite quite fun to cheer on our smaller community that competes against some of the larger communities. So just job well done to all of our staff.
Yes, as soon as rodeos are allowed to be attended, we will see if we can't make that happen.
Yeah.
All right. Any other comments, questions, concerns? Just another huge source of pride in our town. The operations staff, all of our staff is fantastic, but they get to shine each and every year at that event, and hopefully we can get back to normal and get them back up there. All right. Last kick at comments or questions regarding the motion on the table. Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor and opposed. Motion is carried. Excellent. Thank you very much. Let's move right along to item 6C, Proclamation of Seniors Weeks, June 7th through 13th, 2021, CAO.
Yeah, thank you, Worship. And I'm going to ask Michelle Barak to speak to Seniors Week, or ask somebody else to speak on her behalf. So, Michelle.
Thank you. We have Catherine Doyle with us today, one of our community facilitators, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what's going on for Seniors Week this year. Thank you, Catherine.
Thanks for the opportunity to be here today. When I started with the town 11 years ago, part of my portfolio was dealing with seniors, and it was a little disconcerting to realize at that time that I was eligible to ride on the Sunshine Bus, which I had always thought was for people of a little more advanced age. I have come to the realization and the acceptance now that I am a senior serving seniors. So whether that gives me a little more insight, I would ask for your understanding as a senior or not, the fact that there is a typo on the poster that has been now corrected.
Yeah, there is.
So it was difficult trying to plan an event to honor seniors. Seniors love to get together. They love to interact. It's a pleasure to be there. They also like to have some treats, whether it's coffee and cake, something like that. So the idea for seniors recognition this year came from a family and community support services facilitator with the town of Innisfail, who had run an event similar to this last year, and it was very well received. It seemed to me a win-win in that we are recognizing seniors with a little treat. We are also engaging 5 businesses within the town of Olds to maybe help simulate their business efforts a bit during this week as well.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Ms. Doyle, for your update. And may I start with a motion, please? Councillor Overwater.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, I move that June 7th to the 13th, 2021 be proclaimed as Seniors Week in the town of Olds. And what is the age for a senior now? I know we go around and around on that. Like, maybe I'm a senior. Can I get in on this? Like,
well, I certainly would not have anyone asked to provide proof of age, whether it be driver's license. So if you are asking for the special treat, then certainly we would be more than happy to provide you with that. There doesn't seem to be a set age. It's 50 plus for the seniors bus. For some of the federal and provincial benefits, it's 60, it's 65. In my mind, it's about 85. But no one's going to be asked for proof of age during this week.
Thanks, Catherine.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I have Councillor Blatz, then Harper.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Catherine, for this presentation, and for I did note the typo on the poster. I think it's really great that we've got our local businesses stepping up and offering some of these treats on each individual day, and I hope that we will proceed to give them some recognition at the time, and maybe that'll encourage some of our other local businesses to also provide something special for seniors during the weekend. And I can understand where you're coming from, Catherine, because I also too qualify to ride on the Sunshine Bus. Not that I like to age myself, but
I'll need to schedule your ride.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nope, you're on mute.
You're on mute.
Thank you. So just for clarification, I believe that is the town of Wolves helping to pay for some of these treats to the various businesses, or the businesses providing them free of charge?
We have a budget for seniors.
Thank you. Yeah.
And so with the budget, each business has been allotted X number of dollars
Great.
per day. And that's why we have advertised limited quantities.
Yeah.
As well.
Thank you. And I think that's a great idea to allow seniors to have a bit of a treat at various businesses through our town, and a great way for the town of Wolves to support those businesses as well. So great idea. Can't wait to go to the Dairy Queen for the free ice cream cone.
Me too.
There.
All right, any more comments, questions, concerns regarding the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? That motion is carried. Excellent. All right, thank you very much, everybody. Let's move along to item 6D, Proclamation of Recreation and Parks Month, June, CAO.
Thank you again, Your Worship, and I'll ask Michelle Larocque again to speak to this proclamation.
Thank you. We have mckee Carmichael with us today. She's going to tell us a bit about a COVID-friendly activity that she has come up with to engage the whole community to celebrate Recreation and Parks Month in June. Mckee?
Can you hear me?
Gotcha.
It won't let me turn on my camera. I don't know why.
We can hear you loud and strong, though.
Mckee, I don't see a camera connected on yours.
On the iPhone one?
Okay.
Because I don't have a camera on my desktop. All right.
There we go.
All right. I'd like to thank everybody for having me this afternoon and for your time. So again, June is coming up very quickly, and the Alberta Parks and Recreation Association, which we're a member of, recognizes June as Recreation and Parks Month. They're wanting to highlight all the benefits there is to recreation and parks, and bring acknowledgement to that, and hopefully inspire and encourage people to get out, get active, and enjoy the parks and green space that we all have access to. So again, we're looking at doing something that is COVID friendly this year. So looking at planning a physical activity challenge where residents of Olds will get out, get active, and will go onto our website and submit their activity minutes to a web form. Our goal for this year is to get the residents of Olds to accumulate 150,000 minutes of moderately vigorous activity throughout the month of June. Also on the website, we're going to have a goal thermometer. So each day I'll update it to see our progress towards that goal. And at the end of the month, we're going to do a draw for anyone that submits to the activity. And so we're hoping people will challenge their family members, their friends, their neighbors. And the other things that people can submit on that online form are photos, so we can post to our social media to encourage and inspire people of what they're doing, where they're doing it. And it'll be kind of an interesting report. We'll see the log form that they'll be filling out. They'll be not only submitting minutes, but what activities they're doing, where they're doing it. And so we can gauge what the favorite things are to do in Olds and what are some popular things that we can encourage people to do. So that is the program that we're hoping to get started on June 1st.
Now I'm on mute. All right, thank you very much. Let's start with the motion for the proclamation. Councillor Overwater.
Thank you, Worship. The June 2020, is it just the full month? Is that what we're doing? The full month of June. Okay, that June 2021 be proclaimed as Recreation and Parks Month in the town of Olds. Does it say that we're going to challenge maybe some of our neighboring communities in here? Maybe we want to do that.
I hadn't thought of that, but that's absolutely something I could look into.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
We could have a walking competition with other councils, and Councillor Blatz would win in a landslide.
I could go with my walker.
We'll get you a wheelchair, Councillor Overwater. Councillor Blatz.
Thank you, Worship. Thank you, Nikki, for this. And I really am impressed with the activity tracker that inform and program and that you're getting going here. I think this is really great. I think this will really get the community active, and I think it might really encourage some of our community too to visit some of our trails and parks and get out and show the scenery in the town of Olds. We've got some really lovely systems here, trail systems here, and I think it's really great for people to get out and have a look at everything. And again, good job. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Councillor Blatz. Any Councillor Ryan?
Thank you, Your Worship. I too want to thank Nikki for putting this together. You know, with our facilities closed, and our trails aren't closed, it's a good way to get people out and about and getting at least a little bit of activity going. I know, you know, during the summertime last year, the trails were just booming with people riding their bikes and families out getting, you know, having walks. And I think that this would promote the sort of challenge will promote that even more during the month of June. And certainly I enjoy our trails and getting out, so I'll put my little activity in there as part of the challenge. Thank you very much for doing this, and maybe by the time June comes along, we'll even have some of our outdoor facilities back open again. You never know.
Absolutely. Excellent. All right. Any further comments, questions, concerns regarding the motion? Seeing none, thank you very much, Nikki. It was an excellent presentation. So I'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? That motion carries. All right, let's keep moving along. We have item 6E, capital project update, CAO.
Thank you, Your Worship, and I'll ask Director Linderman to speak to the capital project update on 2 projects that we received significant provincial funding for.
Great, thank you. So today I have an update for you on the costing that has come in for our 2 major road projects that are happening this year. As is stated in the RFD, a budget adjustment is required between the 2 projects in order for 70th Ave to proceed. The approved budget for 70th Ave was $1.4 million. Just over $1 million of this was coming from the MSP grant, and the other $300,000 was from MSI. Now that the RFPs have come in, the total cost of this project is anticipated to be $1.84 million. This is an increase of $440,000. This increase is largely due to the requirements from Alberta Transportation that came in after the budget had been. So the other major project approved in the 2021 capital budget is the 48th Avenue, 68th Street connection and roundabout. The total approved budget for this project was just under $6.4 million. $3 million of this was coming from the STIP grant, with the other $3.4 million coming from the town of Olds and developer contributions. This RFP has come in under budget by approximately $480,000. So in line with policy 225C, the Director of Finance is able to make financial budget adjustments where service levels are not impacted, no additional revenue is required, and the net bottom line is not affected. So this adjustment meets all of these requirements. If Council has no objections, I would like to proceed with this adjustment, moving $440,000 from the 68th Street project to the 70th Avenue project.
Excellent. Councillor Blatz, let's start with a motion, please, on the RFD there on page 41.
Actually, I think Councillor Ryan had her hand up before me.
My
You may not be able to
apologies,
see
Councillor
her.
Ryan. Everybody adjusted. And sorry, Councillor Ryan.
No problem. Thank you, Councillor Blatz. Thank you, Your Worship. I move that the Council accepts the capital project update for information. And I do have a question, and that is, so the difference would be the 40,000 between the 2. What do we, what do we do with the 40,000? Does it just stay in reserve? Does it get carried forward with MSI or what?
So at this point, I left the 68th Street budget with that 40,000 in it. And it just, we wouldn't use as much MSI if it comes in at that price.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent, good idea. And then we'll have that available down the road. Excellent. Councillor Blatz, you had your hand up.
That was going to be my question to Director Linderman. So that's fine. Thank you very much for that, Director Linderman.
Sorry, Councillor Blatz.
No. All right, and thank you for pointing out the hand raising issue. Yes, Councillor Ryan.
If anybody else has any other questions, I have another one as well.
Okay, we'll ask real quick if anybody else has one. Doesn't look like it. No hands going up, so carry on, Councillor Ryan.
Thank you, Your Worship. I doubt that Director Lindeman can answer this question, but I was just wondering what the additional money was for with regards to the change in the adjustment. Do we know from Alberta Transportation what the requirements were that they needed met?
Yes, let me just pull up an email that Ben sent me.
It was to mill and overlay, it says in there.
Yeah,
Sorry, I must have missed over that.
it was the transition zone, I believe, as well. It needed to be a bit longer.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, going
Thank
from
you.
80 kilometers to 60, they required a bit longer of a transition.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. All right, any other questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor and opposed. That motion is carried. All right, let's move along. Item 6F, wastewater consumption winter averaging, CAO.
Thank you, Your Worship. This is the third year we've brought this issue forward, or this initiative forward for your consideration. And so I'll ask Director Linderman to speak to this item.
Right. As CEO Merritt said, this is our third year running the program. Being proposed today is to run the program as it was last year, where residential wastewater consumption for the 3 months being July to September would be calculated using the average of the resident's previous 9 months, that being October 2020 to June 2021, with a minimum charge of 2 cubic meters. Attached in the RFD were 2 graphs. Graph number 1 showed the residential consumption trends by month for the past 5 years. As can be seen for most months, we had been seeing a steady decline in consumption from 2016 to 2019. However, 2020 has obviously been an abnormal year with COVID and many people staying home. So of course, we have seen an increase in consumption in most. The second graph showed the total consumption that we are billed by the Wastewater Commission in comparison to the total consumption that we billed. So the large discrepancy between the two are due to the fact that wastewater consumption is based 100% on water. And so as wastewater is not measured. Secondly, and prominently in the spring and summer months, you can see the infiltration used.
I'm sorry, Director Linderman, you keep cutting out or doing your audio isn't coming through very clearly.
Shoot. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you need me to repeat any of that?
I think there was quite a bit missed, I think, Director.
Go back to the graphs?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So graph 1 is residential consumption trends by month for the past 5 years. As you can see, in most months, we had seen a steady decline from 2016 to 2019. 2020 being a COVID year, we've seen an increase as most people.
Oh.
Did you hear me then?
Yep, got that.
Up again.
Okay. The second graph shows the total consumption that we are billed by the Wastewater Commission in comparison to what we bill out. And so the major discrepancies there are that wastewater consumption is based on water consumption, as the wastewater is not metered. So when we're billing out, we're basing it on the water. And secondly, and most prominently in the spring and summer, is the infiltration due to rainfall. As you know, the town of Olds operates its utilities on a full cost recovery model, so tax dollars are not used to subsidize the utility rates. So if this program is approved, it would be funded through the utilities operating reserve. This reserve, as of December 31st, 2020, is at $766,623. And the program cost just under $74,000 in 2020. Due to a savings actually in other areas though of wastewater, there was no transfer necessary in 2020. So hopeful that that will be the case again this year. And I would open it up to any questions.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Director Linderman. May I start with a motion, Councillor Harper?
Thank you very much, Your Worship. I'm strongly in favor of this program, and so I shall make the motion. I move that the winter averaging method be used to calculate wastewater consumption for the 3 months, that being July to September, with a minimum charge of 2 cubic meters.
Excellent. And comment or question?
Well, I think it's a great program, and it certainly helps our residents. And we always know June is our rainiest month, so that's why we've gone to July to September.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Councillor Blatz, then Councillor Overwater.
Thank you, Worship. Through you to Director Linderman. I just want to say how much I appreciate bringing this forward and for your graphs. I think this is a really good visual that we needed to see exactly what does happen and what we are charging out and billing for. So I think this is good also for our citizens to see as well. And I totally agree with this program as too. And I really think it's great for our citizens right now, particularly as we all know that during the months that you do water, wastewater, you might be using water, but it's not going back into the wastewater system, not necessarily. And I also think that it's nice under today's economy to give some of our citizens somewhat of a break, if we can, on some of our utilities, although we have done it in the past. I still think it's a good program. So thank you for this.
Excellent. Thank you, Councillor Blatz. Councillor Overwater.
Thank you, Your Worship. Ms. Linderman, okay, can you, I guess I need a better explanation on page 48 of our agenda. So the commission bills us almost 190,000, I'm assuming that's cubic meters of water. And we only bill out about 70,000. Am I reading that right?
In June, there was that huge of a discrepancy, yes, due to infiltration. So all that rainfall goes through the meter that's going out.
And that was last year only. Last year was an extremely wet June, more so than most years in the past. So yes, that was the discrepancy last year, though. Correct, Director Linderman?
Yeah, last year was a abnormal year, definitely for that.
Yeah, typically it's not that far.
No.
That big of a spread. Councillor Harper.
Just to point out, that graph is wastewater, not water.
Wastewater. Yeah.
Okay.
I do know that.
Yeah.
But of course, we bill based on water, so that's where the difference comes.
Yeah. So the orange line is water and the blue line is wastewater.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. Any further comments, questions, concerns? We have a motion on the table. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? That motion carries. Excellent. Thank you very much, everybody. Let's move right along to item 6G, naming of new town facilities, CAO.
Thank you, Your Worship. And Council Policy 219C basically gives council the authority to name our various facilities, whether they're parks or buildings. As everybody's aware, last week we completed the operations center for the town of Olds, pretty much on schedule and under budget slightly. So that was great news considering the heating of the economy over the past little bit. So it is up to council to basically provide a name for it. We do need to basically put a wayfinding sign up this year and with the address. So it's civic addressing would be easily identified by all, including our emergency responders, so to speak. So we're asking the town to consider the Town of Olds Operations Center spelled with the RE at the end, not an ER. So with that, that's what our request is of council. And I just want to say one thing. It is a center. It has much more than just a building, a facility. It's multifaceted. We have our shed for our sand and other products there. We have lots of places to include our equipment. So I do believe it is a center and would probably be appropriate.
Excellent. Thank you, CAO. May I start with a motion, please, Councillor Overwater?
Thank you, Your Worship. I move that council approve the naming of the new facility located at 3701-70th Avenue as Town of Olds Operations Center. Such a creative name.
In
Excellent.
many respects, we would have asked for something more creative to recognize the name of a town citizen, past or present, or historic item, but this is an operation center for the town, public works, parks, utilities. I think it should be very simple so people would understand where to go for this item. That's why it is simple, and only that it is spelled with an RE, not an ER.
It is very simple. It's very good. Yeah, everybody should be able to find that.
Absolutely. Excellent. All right. Any further comments, questions, concerns regarding the name? All right. Seeing none, I'll call for the votes. All in favor and opposed. And that motion carries. Excellent. Look at us run through this agenda. Let's continue on to number 9, correspondence and information, 9A. CAO. You're on mute, sir.
No reports from council today?
Nope, we typically do that at the end of the month.
Okay. So yeah, there's a number of pieces of correspondence. Thank you, Your Worship, for this, and I'll just quickly go through them. There's a Chinook's Edge basically just wanted to recognize the good relationship and appreciation for that relationship with the Town of Olds, and that's what they wanted to state in their letter. There's a item about post offices in regards to maybe enhancing the ability for post offices to be more than just a postal center. It is something that we will pass on to our new municipal energy manager to look at, but in regards to broadband, we already have a significant broadband presence in the Town of Olds, whether through the SuperNet or through ONET, two great items. So I'm not sure that this really applies as much to our town, but we will ask staff to look at it. The executive team has been given this document. There's a few items in regards to the RCMP and basically letters of support, I believe, from the town of Edson, the county of St. Paul. We've also responded to the RCMP priorities for 2020 and 2021 and 22. And there are a few letters of thank you from Jocelyn Sue and Glenda Winnick for the support that the town has provided them this past few months. So those are the pieces of correspondence, and we will expect to get more correspondence in regards to the RCMP and policing matters over the last bit. And sorry, I missed number D. Crow's Nest Pass has a letter in regards to Eastern Slopes coal exploration and public consultation, which we have been speaking to as well, and we'll probably get more of those as well.
All right, thank you very much, CAO. May I start with a motion, please? Councillor Overwater.
Thank you, Worship. Yes, I move that the correspondence and information report ending May 10th, 2021 be received for information. Did you miss the priorities, Mr. Merritt?
No, I did, but I kind of went out of order. So yes, the RCMP policing priorities was sent to us, and we have responded in kind in regards to that. And I think our policing committee that was established was certainly instrumental in helping us outline what our committees, our priorities were back to the RCMP.
Okay, I do have a comment. Sorry.
I was just going to ask if Justin had a comment to make, because Justin has been a liaison with the RCMP quite a bit in the last over 4 months now. So.
Sure, I'll just keep it brief, but yeah, I'm quite happy with the engagement so far between the police advisory and the detachment commander and resource officer, and I hope that relationship continues. And we obviously look forward to our new staff sergeant coming to the detachment in the near future, and we'll continue that process.
Any update on the timeline, Director Andrew? Nope.
No.
Darn real estate market. We got to get his house sold.
Yes.
Councillor Overwater.
Thank you, Your Worship. I would like council at some point in time to have a very in-depth conversation regarding the RCMP and the provincial police force that the government of Alberta is investigating. I think we need to have a really good in-depth pros and cons as to what our community feels is the best way for us to go. Whether we have more insight, more control, I don't know, but I think we should have a good conversation about that sometime here in the near future, probably prior to I think the provincial election. Who knows, that could be on the ballot. So I think we should have a really in-depth conversation regarding that topic.
We can certainly add that item to a future meeting. Councillor Harper, and then Ryan.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. I think it would be a great community, both council discussion as well as a community information opportunity because I think the community in the end will be asked to make a decision, probably as a referendum or on the next municipal election ballot, which the province does have the ability to place on. So that could be coming as early as October. I'm not sure. So I think it's a great idea to have a good conversation with council and perhaps an opportunity later this summer to have an information session for our public as well.
Councillor Ryan.
Thank you, Your Worship. I too agree with that, that we should have a conversation, especially noted in the letter that we received from the town of Edson with regards to the biology casework analysis expenses that were sent to them, unbeknownst to them that they were being charged. And I think that this is alarming, actually, that the province would actually do this is incredibly alarming to me, because first of all, you would never have budgeted for that because it was never something that the municipality had to pay for. And all of a sudden you're getting a whopping bill for something that is totally out of your hands, because you're not the ones who are, the municipality isn't the ones that is requesting the analysis to be done in the first place. So I find this very disheartening to read, and I think that we need to have a conversation with AUMA with regards to whether or not they're putting something towards the province to stop this from happening again, and to rescind it from the town of Edson, this bill. I'm not sure whether we should be sending a letter, because we've already sent a letter to the province, but certainly a letter maybe to the AUMA, and saying that we do not agree with this, because this is again, I'm going to say alarming to me. And it was brought up, I believe, I'm not sure, Councillor Overwater, do you remember if it was brought up at the police governance conference? I think we heard about this at one of our conferences just recently, and I thought it was at that conference that you and I attended, the police governance conference, when they did an overview of the when they discussed the Alberta police possibilities. And you know, here where they are spending all kinds of money investigating that, and then they're charging a municipality for something like this. So it's just crazy to me.
I'll just respond to that. I think, you know, even with the AUMA leadership, you know, municipal leadership, we heard lots about that. The different, you know, online virtual conferences that we've attended, it's, you know, this is a hot topic, and I think we really need to seriously sit down as council and sit with or at least engage our citizens as to what they think is the best for our community. I mean, they do say that if you do have a private provincial police force in your community, you have more say whether they leave town, whether they don't leave town. You have more control over how your community is policed, and you have more conversation with more engagement with the police. I know our police force here is very good. It is now. I'm not saying it always has been, but you know, it is something that we really seriously need to consider, because if this does come on the provincial or on the election ballot, we want our citizens to be informed. We just don't want them just to, you know, guess, well, RCMP's always been here, so we should keep it. Well, I think everybody has to know the facts before they make that decision. And I think sometimes, you know, everybody doesn't get the facts, and they, you know, just go with hearsay or whatever. So this, I mean, anywhere we go, anywhere as council goes, the mayor goes, this is a hot topic in all of council. So I think we should have that conversation. I'm sure Mayor Mazurka, you with your Central Alberta Mayors Group, I think you guys have probably talked about that too. And I think that should be a big discussion at that area as well.
Yeah, we can absolutely put it back on the agenda for next Tuesday. It's a week tomorrow. We're meeting it again.
Yeah, I think that is something that warrants a conversation with council, and then also with our citizens, and perhaps 2 meetings should be scheduled, one where we can discuss, and then one with our citizens, so we can have an open forum to provide them with the proper information. Thank you.
Yep, excellent. All right, Councillor Thompson, you had your hand up.
Yes, thank you, Worship. So I just wanted to acknowledge all the good comments other councillors are making, but also recognize that the province is supposedly going to release, you know, some cost ideas. They've agreed to do some consultation as well. And so I think we need to know what we want as a community and have that conversation, but with good information so we can make good decisions.
Absolutely. All right, is there any other, oh, CAO Mayor. You're on mute though, sir.
Just a couple of things. The situation in regards to Edson was asked at the Leaders Caucus to Minister Madu, but he did not give a definitive answer to it. Just that's where it probably did come up in the other one. And that was pretty much, as Councillor Thompson said, our letter was, we do need more information in regards to this from the province. And I think was always the intent, when we had the facts and the information, we would be able to make better decisions and have a more informed response back to the province too. I do believe we do have to respond back to the province at some point in time, but only after we do get the information from them.
Absolutely.
I believe there's supposed to be a report coming out in the fall. So hopefully it's before election.
Yeah. Well, especially if they're going to put it on the ballot for a referendum.
Exactly.
Yes, we need that information before anybody votes on anything like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, very good points, everybody. All right, unless there's any other questions or comments, I believe we have a motion on the table. I will call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? Excellent, that motion is carried. Oh, look at that, it's 2:29, an hour and a half. That's some sort of record in COVID for sure. That brings us to adjournment. Who would like to make that motion? Councillor Thompson.
Yes, Your Worship, I would move that we adjourn this meeting.
All in favor? And opposed? Motion is carried. Very good. Thank you very much, everybody. We will see you all soon.